In the headlines, a former Calypso monarch to open Saturday's semi-finals. The spotlight turns to the south this weekend for carnival celebrations in Grand Bay, and the head of the DAIC concerned that disunity is hurting the country's progress. I am Andrea Lee with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, a former Calypso monarch will open the third level of competition in this weekend's semi-finals. Four-time Calypso monarch Gregory Caressa Rivera will start off the show with his song Boo Boo. Next on stage will be Wilfred Intruder Peltier singing Walking with Their Eyes Closed. The rest of the Calypsonians will appear on stage as follows: Wayne Shadowflow Robinson singing Something to Think About, Keith Tronada Ito with Write a Kaiso for Me, Derek DeHunter St. Rose singing Rap Spoon and Fork in Napkin, Andrew Scrunter Basil with We Holding Still, Danian Joseph, stage name Danian, singing Holy Country, Cecil Checker Burnett with Cure of Diablote, Davidson Observer Victor singing Climate Change, Murphy Cy John Jules singing Parry, Derek Lugas Centville, song titled Caressa, Lima Irish Kid Irish with Fight On to Your Dream, Jamal Black Diamond Lloyd with Do Look for My Tongue, Abel Checo John Baptist singing Take Out the Thief, Jocelyn Drama B. Charles singing Change, Tasha P. Peltier with Ross Response, Jude J.D. Deloney singing For King Executive, Fael Healer Lander with Hope Must Survive, Denison Dice Joseph singing Fire Bundem, and Webster Webb Marie will close off the competition with Darkness of Blackness. Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association, Derek DeHunter St. Rose, says it's all systems go for Saturday's semi-finals.
Come Saturday, 8:30 p.m. at the Forecourt, Windsor Park Forecourt. Trust me, it's going to be a ding-dong battle. And, man, you got to be there. I don't think anybody in Dominica should miss the show. You know, we start at 8:30 p.m. Windsor Park Forecourt. Only $45 to get you in. We have a 200-sitting accommodation. For those of you who want to sit, the weather is going to be fine. So we're looking forward to everybody coming down.
Of the 20 competitors, 9 will be chosen to challenge reigning monarch Daryl Bob at the Calypso Finals on 2nd March. Continuing with the Carnival competitions, 8 girls will vie for the title of Carnival Princess 2019 this weekend. The Princess Show is scheduled for Carnival City this Sunday from 3 p.m. The pageant is organized by the Rotaract Club of Dominica.
The Rotaract Club of Roseau for the past few years, I should say actually 2 decades, has been making tremendous contributions to the cultural and personal development of our nation's youth by hosting the annual Carnival Princess Show. Our Carnival Princess Show has grown year after year and has become one of the most anticipated events of the Carnival season. The pageant creates the opportunity for ladies between the ages of 8 to 12 to display their talents and discover the princess within themselves. In accordance with the aim of this prestigious pageant, the 2019 show will be steered under the theme, Connecting Our Past to Embrace Our Future.
The 8 participants are Rain August of the St. Martin Primary School, Lizanne Cuffey of the Convent Preparatory School, Shakai Andrew of the Will Stratmore Stevens Primary School, Chavez Seaman of the Paywish Primary School, Janelli Williams of St. John's Primary School, Simaya Farrell of the Granford Primary School, Takia Basil of Wesley Primary School, and Phaedra Nicholas of the Soufriere Primary School. Mass Dominic celebrations are heating up and carnival opening parades continue around the country this weekend, with the South taking the spotlight. South City Grand Bay will host the official opening parade for its carnival celebrations on Saturday. Chairman of the Grand Bay Village Council, Edward Regis, says Dominica's traditional mass will be strongly featured at the weekend's event.
We will begin at 2 o'clock on Saturday from the Grand Bay Community Center with traditional mass mainly. So we will be showcasing our traditional mass, and you know that Grand Bay is very, very strong on this. So the Sakis Lapokabut Band, the Montine Lapokabut Band, Sugar Fire from Marigot, and a few others will be joining us for that. We will have on parade several contestants in various shows taking place both in Grand Bay and at the national level. We have several representatives, I think for the Mother's Queen Show, the National Queen Show, the Miss Teen Dominica, and several others. So Grand Bay is filled in a number of potential winners this year.
Regis says the youth will also have a prominent spot in Grand Bay's carnival celebrations.
PHL Secondary School will also have its own activities, as well as the Grand Bay Primary School. We have a large kiddies carnival band this year that we've invested in quite a lot to help the young people, the kids themselves, to really have some fun and excitement, and that will be on Carnival Sunday, the day before Carnival Monday. We're showcasing that. And of course, there are several little bands and gangs that will be joining us on Carnival Monday and Tuesday.
Grand Bay's Carnival opening parade will start at the Grand Bay Community Center and end on the Pierre Charles Boulevard, where there will be a short ceremony with speeches from officials and carnival stakeholders. In other news, a group of seafarers here have achieved what has been described as a milestone. A graduation ceremony was held for them on Friday. This follows extensive training courses in various aspects of their work. Management of HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited and L'Express des Îles were present for the ceremony.
L'Express des Îles is a French company by law, and we want it to be Caribbean by soul. This is why when the French authorities have authorized that in 2011, vessels carrying passengers under the French flag to have foreign workers, non-EU workers on board, we decided to have Dominican seafarers working on board our ferries. A few people told us, you take a risk. We went on. And I must say 8 years later that these people were wrong and we were right doing so. We are happy, and I would say more than happy, we are proud of what we did, and believe me, we'll go on. These young Dominicans, women and men, are good, are professional, and they definitely can walk proudly in the street of their villages or town, as they give a very positive image of Dominica abroad. They are really a kind of ambassadors of Dominica in the islands we call at. My last point, before I leave our fleet manager, introduce what we have done during these 8 years, will be to say to our Dominican customers, they have now the choice to travel to Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Lucia, choice of maritime services, airlines. They should keep one figure in mind. The company that employs the most of Dominican in its fleet is definitely L'Express des Îles. Presently, 20% of our total workers in the company are from Dominica.
Our team from Dominica is composed of 2 ladies and 11 gentlemen. The mean age of the team is 36 years old. We have in the team Miss Africa Kemersha, hostess, Miss Simon Rosiena, hostess, Mr. Andrew Edwick, mechanic, Mr. Victor Jarson, mechanic, Mr. Bernard Lloyd, bosun, Mr. Dumas Doni, bosun, Mr. Lao Carson, bosun, Mr. Nicholas Vince, bosun, Mr. Gilbert Matthew is a seaman and steward, Mr. Jules Stephan, seaman, Mr. Stefan Sherwin, seaman, Mr. Simon Terry, seaman, and Mr. Vigilant Kellen, seaman. Our seafarers come from all the territory of Dominica. One from Scott's Head in the south, one from Roseau, one from La Plaine, 5 from Dublin and Bioche, 3 from Portsmouth, and 2 from Penville in the very north of Dominica. When we start this adventure in 2011, after recruitment of good level of education in Dominica, we have to put in place a process of training to allow our Dominican seafarers to work on board. This process consists in on-board familiarization. We have to put the seafarer on board the vessel for 1 week to evaluate if he feels comfortable with the job on board. This concerns 30 trainings from 2011 to nowadays. After that, we had to put in place some basic training in safety for passengers, safety regarding the specificities of high-speed vessels, fire on board, rescue, and basic training in security. 25 seafarers has followed these basic trainings. After that, for seafarers who have proved that they can hold the rank of mechanic and bosun on board, we had to put in place international training for able seaman deck and able seaman engines. 6 seafarers have passed with success this training, and we hope to have 2 more seafarers in the 2 next years. Okay, we hope with that training and the maritime experience to open the access to higher level of training and position with what is allowed by the regulation.
Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Brown says a court judgment awarding a former Liat employee $1.5 million is excessive and should be appealed. A jury in St. Croix awarded the former Liat employee $1.5 million in damages 4 years ago after he took the airline to court for firing him because of his age. The man was 71 when he was fired by Liat in 2015 after having worked with the airline for 47 years. The Observer is reporting that Brown has expressed hope that Liat's executive will appeal the decision, which he believes will lead to further financial problems for the struggling airline. He called the ruling outlandish and utter madness, saying those who made it do not understand the airline's financial health. You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are,
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
there's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Welcome back. President of the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce says the lack of a united front on a way forward for the country is worrying. Julian Morris has that story.
Kenneth Green made the statement at this week's National Economic Forum. Green says the lack of a cohesive society is a problem for business in the country.
It's an issue for us because there does not seem to be any one unified agenda that the government, the opposition, the business climate, and the entire population seem to be unified on. And this is worrying. It is worrying because in trying to develop any development plan for the country, there has to be some agreement of where we want to go and how we're going to do it. I think that our reluctance to debate, to discuss, is a very, very big weakness of our culture. We often operate in silos, and those silos on WhatsApp, on radio stations, you have one radio station, another radio station, people talking to each other. And so having forums such as this is incredibly important.
He said the lack of proper financial recording is among areas which also affect the success of the business community.
It's a bit embarrassing to say so, but many of our businesses do not have adequate financial statements, they don't have financial records, and part of the issue that we're coming to is that there's not just a need for financing, there is a need for business education. And it seems a shame to say so in 2019, but relatively mature businesses who've been running for 10, 15 years don't have adequate financial records. And this has to be a constraint for the development of the private sector as well as the ability to dialogue with government.
Thursday's forum was held under the theme Towards Creative Solutions in Enhancing Access to Finance by the Private Sector.
A new executive, which will ultimately preside over the 2020 general elections, to be elected on Sunday when the Labour Party holds its delegates' conference. This delegates' conference, carded for Londonderry, comes as the party celebrates over 60 years in existence as a political party. Prime Minister Skerritt's establishment of diplomatic ties with the People's Republic of China is viewed as one of the party's great accomplishments within the organization's existence.
Delegates Conference is a requirement of the Constitution of the Dominica Labour Party, and so it is that time again to host our conference. As you would know, that we have not hosted a conference in a few years, and so we felt it necessary to go ahead and to actually have that conference at this time. The reasons why we have not been able to host a delegates conference as is required by the Constitution, really the party, being the party in government, had to really and truly prioritize the reconstruction and rebuilding of the country after two devastating hurricanes, Maria and Erica. And the country, the government plunged into this whole effort over the past few years. And we had to really prioritize that. So, having seen the rebuilding that has taken place in the country, or the country has rebounded, we felt that it was an opportune time to go back to the party and to focus on our delegates conference.
The party has not held a delegates conference since Tropical Storm Erica. Party officials remained tight-lipped on Friday over who will be Sunday's guest speaker. 210 delegates will have the responsibility of electing the new executive. The Prime Minister is expected to speak on the party's stewardship, particularly in light of recovery efforts post the Tropical Storm Erica and Hurricane Maria. And Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido has reportedly denied that plans to unseat Maduro have failed.
The Guardian is reporting that Guaido has rejected his rival's claim that his campaign has failed, but admitted that the trickle of military defections to his side have so far been insufficient to force change. Juan Guaido, now recognized as Venezuela's legitimate interim president by more than 50 governments, told The Guardian his country's march into a new political era was unstoppable and Maduro's cruel dictatorship was doomed. The 35-year-old Guaido says he will continue to keep Maduro under pressure, as this is an opportunity for Venezuela to achieve democratic change. But what does the average Venezuelan national think about those efforts to oust Maduro? This is a video released recently by realnews.com of Venezuelans turning out to sign a petition in opposition of US-led efforts to replace the Maduro government. The Venezuelans also shared their views on their country's political and economic crisis.
Bueno, hoy estamos recogiendo firmas contra las intenciones del gobierno norteamericano para invadir, hollar el sagrado suelo de nuestra patria. Entonces, por ahora estamos recogiendo millones de firmas. Eso es lo que estamos haciendo.
Bueno, vine muy contenta, muy alegre, porque quiero estampar mi firma en contra del imperio a favor de nuestro comandante Hugo Chávez y Nicolás Maduro.
Para darle apoyo al presidente, porque estoy consciente de lo que está pasando, que es algo que es sumamente delicado y peligroso para nosotros.
Vine a defender mi voto, que yo voté por el presidente Maduro y tienen que respetarse mi voto.
Un presidente que se autoproclama el mismo, sabiendo él como diputado y presidente de la Asamblea Nacional que no lo puede hacer, porque nosotros el 20 de mayo votamos por nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro. Ellos no votaron, ese es el problema de ellos, pero yo estoy aquí hoy en día defendiendo mi voto.
Yo pienso que puede presentarse una guerra civil debido a que la mayoría de las personas del pueblo está con el presidente Maduro, puesto que aquí se hicieron unas elecciones y las elecciones fueron ganadas por Maduro porque la mayoría del pueblo salió a votar por Maduro. Entonces ese mismo pueblo va a salir a reclamar su derecho, porque ese señor es un usurpador, ya que a él nadie lo ha elegido. Ellos no participaron de elecciones, él no fue ni siquiera candidato.
To end the news, the headlines again. A former Calypso monarch to open Saturday's semi-finals. The spotlight turns to the south this weekend for carnival celebrations in Grand Bay. And head of the DAIC concerned that disunity is hurting the country's progress. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access or past the newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend.